I do know that. Yeah, I do know. It's weird. I don't know where it came from necessarily, but
What?
it
Wow.
was creepily accurate on a lot of the stuff. Some of the stuff isn't entirely accurate, and whoever did it has not updated in a while. I wish I knew who. I would tell them like, "Hey, talk about my AW podcast," because that's not that's not on there. And I know fuck all about like Wikipedia, so I'm like,
There's an edit
I
button. All
don't
you
even.
have to do is push the edit button, I think. I've never done it myself.
Yeah, maybe I'll do it myself. But it's it is weird having a Wikipedia page. I
Yeah.
think I
I've
feel
always wanted
strange.
a Wikipedia page, but I wanted a Wikipedia page too.
Wiccan, yeah, for
Yeah.
the witches of us.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you got to stay current with your witch niche.
Hell yeah.
That
Well, on that
rhymed.
note,
Unintentional.
welcome to the Hypothetical Comedy Podcast. I am Funky Sam Medina.
And I am Athena Rodriguez.
And we're here with comedian Johnny Taylor. Hey Johnny, how you doing, man?
I'm fantastic. It's good to be here and to see
thanks.
your smiling face. It was so cool to see you at the show the other night, which was awesome. So
Yeah, man. Thanks for being here. And it really was great to see you on the show. Your set was so funny. I haven't seen you perform
I
live in
appreciate
so
it.
long, and I loved it. It was great.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, dude. It was an odd show with a mariachi band playing
Yeah, it
throughout
was.
most of it.
And I like how
But
you came on stage and you talked about him, and then they stopped. Like they were
I know
like you embarrassed them.
I felt like I had weird powers. I manifested it. Yeah, Jesse Rivera. It was his birthday. Jesse's a good friend of mine, and he was originally had Rhoda Ramone was scheduled to headline that show, and she couldn't make it last second. So, I'm not back on the road till next week. So, people don't realize this, and I think people are hesitant to ask me sometimes to do their shows in town. But if I'm not on the road, I'll fucking perform outside of a dumpster. You know what I mean? Like I'm just trying to stay sharp. You know what I mean? So
I mean, you almost did that night. There was a dumpster about
yeah,
20
I
feet
mean,
away. In fact,
it was
set,
as close
during
as
your set,
possible.
they brought a big garbage can out because you could hear the wheels to the dumpster.
Yeah, they were like getting ready to close up shop. I'm like, yeah, this is where we've come. I've made it. But yeah, so it's been cool to like, Jesse's like, hey, last second, do you want to do this? And I'm like, yeah, dude, I ain't got shit going on. So
hell yeah,
rock and roll.
Rock and roll. Yeah, no, it was a good time.
Good.
It was a good time.
I love when stuff like that happens because kind of like, okay, as a comedian, it's cool to me, but as a person who loves to watch comedy, it's even cooler because it's like we got to celebrate our friend and had this extra treat of seeing a really amazing comedian,
Oh,
and
so nice.
that's not like very frequent.
Right, and to see see a show in such a weird it was weird. It was there's no other way to put it. It was just a strange show. So
yeah,
the lighting was weird, and the mic was weird, and the mariachi band.
Oh, the lighting kept going out. Yeah, because Jess was fixing it.
yeah. She was like on stage during people's sets fixing it, and I'm like, this is fucking stand-up comedy. Like,
but there was a bunch of people there.
Yeah,
a decent crowd, which was cool. And there's a street fair out front. I was like, when I got there, I was like, wow, Jesse has a lot of friends. They blocked off the street.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. And then I got inside and I was like, oh, wait, no, these people are just enjoying food and beer and having
I was going to the bathroom at one point and I was standing in line and there was a lady in front of me and she was on her cell phone and she was like, you got to get over here now. They're having a stand-up comedy show. It's going to be so much fun. And I was like, yeah. I almost wanted to step in and be like, oh, wait till you see the headliner, but I didn't say anything to her.
Yeah, that's nice. I think that was one of those shows where I think like 80% of the crowd liked me and 20% of the crowd absolutely hated me and were like, who hired this guy? But that tracks. That's been I think that's been the arc of my career has been uh, about half and half, half love it, half hate it. And that's fine. It's got me this far.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I don't know if you know this, but the time that we saw you before this past time, it was July of 2019, and
Oh my
we
God.
we were not doing comedy for like 3 years.
I remember.
And
I remember when you guys took the hiatus.
yeah, and so Johnny Taylor tickets went on sale. I bought them, and I was super excited. In fact, I was like, I set my alarm because it was like Ticketmaster, and they went on sale like at 10 o'clock, and I literally bought seat 1 and 2 at the
I
Sac
remember
Punchline.
you guys were up front.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was great, and we were just sitting there, and we were loving the show. And on the way home, Athena was like, I was picturing myself there. I was picturing myself doing that. I really miss doing that. And I was like, oh, me too. The whole time I was there, I was picturing like, oh, I could be here. I could be on stage. And that's kind of when we decided to get back on stage because of that
Oh,
night.
that's so awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take full credit. I'm like,
That you have to.
I,
You have
I
Full
to.
credit given.
I got him back into stand up.
It was a good
Oh, that's so
show.
cool.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
a
I
really
think I
fun
remember
show.
that one. It was I think I remember being pretty good. Pretty good crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
At the Sack Punch. Was I headlining?
Yeah, you were. It
Yes.
was your show. Yeah.
Okay,
Robert Berry
cool.
was hosting, and Daniel Hamburg. Is it Hamburg?
Oh yeah, Daniel Humbarger, yeah.
Hamburger. And then also
Another
Keith.
fallen
Keith was on it
soldier.
too.
Yeah, Keith always wiggles his way on any show. If I'm doing a show, he wiggles. He wiggles on it. I do the
Yeah.
same to his shows, so I can't really bitch.
It happens. It happens.
It
So
was
that's
really
what
good.
friends are for, I guess.
Right.
So Johnny,
Friends are there to lend 7 minutes.
are you born and raised in Sacramento? Where are you from?
No, Sacramento's definitely my hometown, but I was born in Riverside, down south. But we moved around a ton when I was a kid. Not because I was like a military brat, but my mom was severely mentally ill, and whenever some shit would go wrong, we would move. So I
Oh
lived,
wow.
yeah, I lived in, born in Riverside, lived in Tulsa, Oklahoma, as a kid, lived in Reno, lived in Sac, moved back to Reno, then moved back to Sac when I was like 13. But I've been in Sac other than I moved to LA for 3 years, and came back right before the pandemic.
Oh,
When you guys saw me, I was probably still living in LA and I was just up doing a show. So
Oh wow, that's interesting.
I think I moved back right around that time, probably. So
You made the right choice probably because life would have been a lot harder in LA during the
oh
pandemic.
yeah.
yeah, I had to go down there for different reasons during the pandemic, and it was like it seemed post-apocalyptic. It was very strange down there. So yeah, I mean, I did make the right call.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's cool. So what was it like for you so you grew up in Sacramento. What was that like for you?
I love Sac. I have a lot of 916 pride. People shit on Sac, but I think Sac's a great town, and it's also a really great town for stand-up because it's a super diverse city. People don't realize that. Uh, I would say if you could do well in Sac, it travels well. You could probably do stand-up most places if you're okay at it in Sac. And I think the proof's in the pudding. We've had so many great comics come out of Sac. Kyrie, Shabazz, J.R. de Guzman, Keith, myself, Ruby Setnick, who's killing it in New York now.
Wow,
So,
that's awesome.
yes, Mikey Winfield. I mean, how can I forget? But yeah, I mean, Sac. I mean, I would say Sac has probably had, with Stephen Fury, a more successful Sac comics in the last, 5 to 7 years than even the Bay Area. So, Sac's slept on for the comedy scene, but it's also a cool town. I love Sac.
Yeah.
I could go on.
That's cool. And then, so speaking of your childhood, one thing that you do talk about in your stand-up is that when you were a kid, you would lay awake in bed and cry, and be just stressed out about the fact that someday your parents are both going to die.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I did the same thing when I was a kid,
Oh, yeah.
and so I've finally felt like I connected with somebody on that because I've never really felt like that before. So that's cool. Do you have? I don't want to talk about like negative, bad things, but do you have any like
Talk
fun
about
stories
whatever.
about your? What's that?
Talk about whatever, man. I'm an open book.
But I know that your parents are like a big part of your life and a big part of your stand up. Do you have any like fun stories about growing up with your parents?
Yeah, I mean, my parents, for all their faults, you know, I have fond memories of my childhood. You know, my dad was, you know, a super liberal. You know, he was always that guy that was like, you know, we accept everybody in this house. Before it was cool to do that, you know.
Oh, that's awesome.
He was woke before it was woke.
Before is a term.
Uh, yeah, and you know, my mom was great. I mean, she was one of the funniest people I ever met, and I think I get a lot of my sense of humor from her. You know, she was this batshit crazy lady. You know, and I say it, you know, with love, but she was most of my life. She was in and out of the mental hospital like every, you know, couple of years. So, uh, it was weird. Like you definitely like would walk on eggshells and you'd avoid triggering terms and triggering things on television because you didn't really know what would set her off, but you'd start to see patterns, you know. And so that was challenging, you know, and it kind of robbed me a lot. And I argue with my siblings about this. I have two sisters and a brother, and they look at our childhood through like these rose colored glasses. And it's because I was so much younger than them. You know, they weren't there a lot of the time. You know, I was in it, you know, I was living there. And a lot of them had already moved on and were adults. You know, my closest siblings, 8 years older than me.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
so, you know, I was just a little kid and they were out there living their lives. You know, they didn't have to deal with it every day. Uh, so, you know, I definitely got kind of the short end of the stick as far as like when my mom started having like some serious issues. Uh, but at the same time, you know, the good time, 95% of it was good. Just the 5% of it was so bad that it sticks with you, you know.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
I'm 46 now and I'm still dealing with the repercussions of that, of growing up like that. So, but you know, it makes good comedy for sure. You know, I mean, I've been able to, you know, that my parents, as most people know, are since deceased, but and I miss them every day. But uh, you know, you got to turn, you know, the sub wrestling term, you got to turn chicken shit into chicken salad sometimes, you know. So I've tried to do that for the most part.
That's awesome. Yeah, I understand that as well. Like I feel like the same way, like to where, you know, you could look at it like a negative thing, but you know, it's also like there's like so much like goodness out of it too. That's kind of how my childhood was as well.
Yeah, you got. I mean, and everybody's. It's not like I'm some fucking rare bird, you know. Everybody's shot. Everybody's had their shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Regardless of, you know, race, class, whatever. You know, people are always like, you know, people see people bitching, like rich people bitching about something, like they don't have their own problems. You know what I mean? It's like everybody's got problems. Doesn't matter uh, who you are.
Sure.
Uh, that said, it'd be awesome to have money to just go spend.
Yeah, wouldn't it? They say money
Try to
doesn't buy
buy my way
happiness,
out of it.
but they say money doesn't buy happiness,
Hey,
but a few cars make me pretty happy.
Yep.
right, I could buy some dopamine hits
Right.
like that.
Hell yeah. Hey, so at what point did you kind of like discover and fall in love with stand-up comedy?
Yeah.
Well, I was a kid. I started really loving stand up. My parents were those parents that just let me watch whatever. So I was like 5 watching like Nightmare on Elm Street and Porky's and
Same.
any kind of just, you know, the most inappropriate shit.
Yeah.
But I remember watching Robin Williams at the Met on HBO when I was probably 5 or 6, maybe, yeah, probably 6. And just being like, whoa, like I've never seen anybody do this. He's just standing on stage making a theater of people laugh, you know? And I was immediately like, oh, I want to do that. But then throughout my entire like childhood, you know, I loved fucking Richard Pryor and I loved Joan Rivers. Anybody that was, you know, funny and I had access to, I was super into. And then later, as I became a teen and into my early 20s, it was like Chris Rock's still my guy. I think Bring the Pain, which came out in like 95, still one of the greatest stand-up specials of all time. And it holds up. I've watched it so many times, even recently. Um, and then Louis C.K. R.I.P. And then, so many others, you start kind of expanding your horizons. But I started late. I didn't start till I was 32. So, it took me a while to even get the courage to go to an open mic. When I wanted to do stand up, I didn't even know how to do it. Even in my 30s, I was like, how do you start this? And I'm like, oh, you got to go to an open mic. And I went to an open mic at the Comedy Spot and was like, I have to be better than some of these people. Like it was so dreadful for the most part. And then I remember being like, okay, I'll go up next week. And I didn't think much about it. The day that I went up, I scribbled like maybe 3 things, ideas down. And I was like, I'll go talk about this. And it went well enough that I was like, oh man, maybe I'll do this again. So the next week, I remember I invited all my friends out to the Comedy Spot, which was a horrible idea, bombed horribly. And then you get off stage, and it's so funny. Your friends are so patronizing. They're like, "Well, you tried, That's so cool. That's so cool. You have a hobby, And you're like, oh man, I thought I'd be good at this. But then, glutton for punishment. I just kept getting up, and fucking 13 years later, here we are. So it's wild, but I've been doing this for that long. But sometimes seems like 500 years, but
yeah, right. Like your whole life, like you've been doing it. It does seem like that.
Ages
sometimes.
you on the soul.
Oh my god, yeah, my soul's got to be 1,000 by now.
How did you find that mic at the Comedy Spot?
So I was living real near there. The Comedy Spot's in Midtown. Have you guys ever gone to the Comedy Spot?
No, never.
So it's the 20th and K, so it's in the heart of Midtown in Sacramento. And I was living at 21st and Capitol at the time, which is like just 2 blocks away. Okay. And I used to go to this Mr. Pickles sandwich shop. It was right next door to the Comedy Spot at the time. It's long since gone. But I would go by there, and I met Brian Crawl, who runs the Comedy Spot. And we would just bullshit outside. And he was like, "You're funny. Have you ever thought about doing improv?" And I was like, no, not really. Kind of not my thing. And I was like, I have thought about stand up. And he's like, oh, we do an open mic night. So that's what kind of inspired me to go to the open mic night. It's all Brian Crawl's fault. So
now we know who to blame.
yeah, he's the one. Send your hate mail there.
Were you always such a good storyteller? Because your storytelling is just amazing.
Thank you. Appreciate that. But not really. At the time, I was just trying to like figure out how to do anything. I didn't really even know how to write a joke, or I was fucking clueless. I just knew that the funniest I was is when I was telling a story at a party, and I would always have like a circle of people around me listening to me tell a story. And so I'm like, oh, maybe this is my thing. And I'm even in music, like, storytellers have always been my favorite. I've always been such a big Nick Cave fan and a big Lou Reed fan, and people that kind of had they were true storytellers, and that just kind of became my style. And I knew that I didn't want it to be all dark. I wanted it to be silly too. So I think I've, over the years, kind of, it's dark and silly and, narrative based. And that's just my thing. It has become what I do. But at first I was just trying to get a laugh. I didn't know how I was going to, I just knew I wanted to. So it took a while. And, in the early going, you're only getting 5 minutes, so it's really hard to like go up there when you're not good yet and kind of spin a yarn for 5 minutes and hope it works. So
Yeah.
the jokes in the early going were definitely a little quicker than they are now. Now I definitely take my time,
Let it
but
steep.
I mean, I have the luxury to most of the time. So
Yeah, right. As a headliner,
I didn't have it back then. I didn't have it back then,
Yeah, no, absolutely. So then, you started recording an album a couple years into your comedy, right? Tangled Up in the Plaid.
Yeah, take open flats. So that was
That was a good
everybody told me that
one.
was a horrible idea.
Oh, really?
Uh, oh yeah, they were like, you're 2 years in and you don't have an hour. I heard it all from everybody. Even friends of mine were like, I don't know, can you really think you could do an hour? And I was like, yeah, I can. So I self-funded it. I did GoFundMe, and I knew I didn't need much money. I knew a really good sound guy that was going to give me a deal. And I used the sack punchline, and I think I had just been passed as a host at the Live Nation clubs. Uh, so, they were even giving me 2 nights. I think they gave me a Tuesday and a Wednesday. Just them even like giving me 2 nights was very generous of them.
Yeah.
But then, so I did one show each night, and it turned out good. I didn't have a record deal or anything. I just, self-produced it, and then I had a guy edit it, and then I just sent it out to some places. I sent it out to Stand Up Records. I sent it out to a special thing. I sent it out to Sub Pop and Kill Rock Stars, and I got two people were interested in it. Stand Up Records, who I ended up signing a record deal with, and then Kill Rock Stars also was interested in putting it out. And I went with Stand Up Records because just the history of the label. They had Marin and Bamford. There's this legacy of great comics that have put stuff out on there. So they wanted to put it out, so they put it out, and it did pretty well, and it still makes me money, which is not much, but I still get royalty checks. I'm like, yeah, people still listen to Tangled Open Plaid. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah, we love the album.
We do. In fact, I
Oh,
believe it's
thanks.
the first album that has like the greatest callback in the history of the world in there.
Oh, which one is it?
The punchline is
I barely remember the shit.
We don't want to spoil it.
I don't remember exactly how you have it going, but the punchline is, "Oh, I'm that guy now."
Oh yeah, that's.
I love that. I think about that sometimes, I'll just randomly think about that situation.
So
I still use that callback in a totally different bit now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is funny. I have that little 1 minute anchor in a bit, and then I do a completely different bit, and then I use that anchor again at the end. Way better bit now.
That's cool. No, I gotta hear that new bit. I gotta hear that new bit because I love that original one.
Yeah. I didn't do it the night you guys saw me. That night I maybe did 2 bits and just riffed.
That Challenger bit though. That we were talking about that.
Oh, thanks.
It was so funny.
Oh my gosh, we were giggling so freaking hard.
Yeah,
I
think that's the new special.
But you made it so funny to because I remember being little,
Yeah, me too.
It's so relatable for us.
Yeah, people of a certain age for sure. It's one of those bits too where I've had people be like, I'm just not into you making fun of the Challenger exploding. And I'm like, it's not even about that. It's about little kids not knowing how to react to a tragedy.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's dark, of course, in nature, but it's really like I'm not making fun of people dying in the Challenger. I'm making fun of the fact that how irresponsible adults are to not warn us of the possible risks involved.
And you don't know how to process it. You don't know what's happening as a kid.
You don't even know. I literally had no idea what happened.
So we're a little bit younger than you, Johnny. But as soon as you started,
most people are.
As soon as you started that bit, I had a flashback of an episode of Punky Brewster where they talked about the Challenger exploding when I was a kid.
Oh, amazing! Yeah. I don't think I've ever. I love Punky Brewster. I don't think I've ever seen that. I'm gonna definitely YouTube it.
Yeah. The older guy, the guy that the Henry guy or whatever, the teacher guy that she talks to, he had to sit down with her and talk to her about it because she was Same thing. I think they watched it in school like you did.
Yeah, no, I mean that was the thing. I remember the lead up to it just being incredible. I was like, "It's fucking awesome, man! We're
It's
going to space.
cool.
This is so sick."
Yeah.
They're even sending a teacher up there, uh, and then just watching it unfold and being like, "Wow, that's gonna fucking ruin."
That's gonna
I
change
was like,
people's
"That's gonna
image.
make a great bit someday." I did it.
Speaking of great bits, so when did you think that you were kind of onto something with the comedy? Was it when you did your first album, or was it a little
Yeah,
bit before
finding
that?
your voice.
Yeah, there
No,
we
it was
go.
probably yeah. I listen. It's I mean, I wasn't ever really horrible. Uh, so I thought that was a good sign.
Hmm.
I would do open mics and I was still like better than a lot of the people and people that had been doing it like a lot longer. Uh, and then, I had no context. So I didn't know like open mics were just practice, I didn't know anything about it. So when I started, I would vomit open mic sometimes, but sometimes I do okay. And the same old story. It's just how it works for everybody. And then I would do a show. Like I remember I did the SAC showcase at the Punchline, and I crushed. And I was like, oh man, I didn't know it could be like this. And I remember Keith being like, yeah, all those times you're bombing and practicing those bits, like you were preparing yourself for having a crowd of people that weren't degenerate drunks, you know what I mean? Or other comics. So when I started doing well, when I was getting put on shows that had a crowd, I was like, oh, maybe I'm not bad at this. And then I just started doing more shows and people would book me for cooler stuff. And I'd do the Throckmorton and I started getting up at the Sunday showcase at the SF Punchline, which still, I mean, I talk to SAC comics all the time and it's not nearly as stringent as it was. You used to have to go every other week or every week, and you have to wait 6 months. And now people are getting passed through SAC to work the SAC club. But I went every other week for 6 or 7 months straight, and then when I finally got up, I had a great set, and Molly, who used to book it, uh, she came up and she was like, uh, that was a really great set. And I was like, oh, that's got to be good. She probably didn't say that to everybody. And then she was like, can you come back Wednesday to San Francisco and audition at Cobb's? After my first time ever getting up to the SF Punchline showcase.
Wow.
And so I went on Wednesday and I had a great set at Cobb's. And then she emailed me while I was on my way home and gave me a weekend with Moshe Kasher. And I was like, oh, it probably doesn't work like this. Like I think I got lucky, right place, right time, and then had a good set. And then a couple of weeks later, she emails me. She's like, Moshe Kasher canceled. We're going to put you with somebody else. And I was like, okay. And she put me with Brian Posehn.
Oh,
And
wow.
that's how I met Brian Posehn, who has become one of my best friends. And I feature for, 15 weekends a year on the road now. So uh, I got lucky. A lot of things went right in that first couple of years. So I feel very lucky, you know.
That is really cool.
And I
And
have
that's
people looking out for me, cool people looking out for me. So
I love how it just like the universe has kind of made you meet Brian Posehn and you guys became really good friends. That's incredible.
right. You know, you couldn't write it. It's just one of
Yeah.
those weird things that
That's
happen.
wild because if you think if like Moshe Kasher was there, like would it be that kind of friendship? Would it
would,
be that kind of
would
chemistry?
you be
You
best
don't
friends with
know.
Moshe Kesher if not?
Right. And I've met Moshe several times, and he's very nice. But yeah, who knows? I do that weekend with Moshe Kasher. Maybe I never even meet Brian Posehn. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's hard to tell. So
Do you have any
uh,
fun road stories with Brian?
I mean here's the thing. Brian and I are old, so it's not like one of those things where it's like we go on the road, we fucking party all weekend. Uh, it's definitely not that. It's we usually eat good food. We go to some comic shops and some record stores. We have really great shows. We smoke pot with fans, and then we eat late night, and then we go back to our hotel rooms. I mean,
Oh yeah.
it's not nearly it's definitely not like partying with the Rolling Stones in 1973. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
Uh,
definitely.
but no, I mean, I have great memories, and they mostly revolve around just having really fun shows and having really good food.
That
So
is so
we
that's
love Austin, we love Portland, we love Denver because we know that the food's really good, and people are weirdos, and they're gonna like the show. So
That's cool, man.
I
I
like
would love to see you and him perform together someday. I feel like you would complement each other a lot.
well, we do. I mean, it's a fun show, and we're at Cobb's next month, October 19th
Oh,
to 21st. So
nice.
Oh, that sounds
come
good.
through. I'll get you on the guest list.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
That
we'll
would
have
be
to
so
follow up with you on that.
cool.
Is what is Trump sugar sucks tragic? That's on your Wikipedia page.
So that was Trump Sugar Sucks Tragic it was taking too long for my second album to be released, and I felt like I wanted to get something out there. So I took a bit, which ended up on Bumming with the Devil, which was my second like full length release with Stand Up Records. We took a bit out of there and we released it, and I donated all the money to Planned Parenthood.
Oh.
So it's basically just me shitting on Trump for 5 minutes, and then all the money going to his mortal enemy, Planned Parenthood.
It
So
does say it was a charity, so that's cool.
yeah, and it was it's a good bit, and it sounds dated now because it's 7 years later, but at the same time, it's like I felt like I had to get like some content out
Mhm.
because it seemed like it was taking forever for that second album to get released. So that's what that was,
Is it a track
and to
off
this
of?
day,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
it's off Bone with the Devil, and to this day, I still think that's some of the coolest cover art ever.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it looks like the cover for Blood Sugar Sex Magic by the Chili Peppers, but it's got Trump's head where
Oh,
Anthony Kiedis' head.
I gotta see
Yeah, you
that.
gotta look it up.
Yeah, it's
That's
good shit.
that's really cool. So your second album that you just mentioned, Bum with the Devil. Your first album was very DIY, very punk rock, right? You know, you
Mm-hmm.
did it yourself, you shopped it around. What was your second album like for you?
Had a budget, which was cool. I didn't have to worry about any of that. I didn't have to worry about like raising funds, and we shot video, and it came out on Tubi like maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, and so 5 years later after its release, people finally like get to see it. It was crazy. I had no idea it was even going on Tubi. People on Twitter just started saying, "Oh wow, I watched this guy's special and I loved it." And I'm like, I had no idea it was even there. So
Wow.
yeah, I didn't drop a special. A special got dropped on me. So it was weird. 5 years later, people like finally like in a wide distribution get to see it. So that's been awesome. It's almost like this rebirth of that special. Uh, but I like that one. I like it a lot more than Tangled Up in Plaid, if I'm being honest. I just think it's way more focused. I think it's definitely me as a better comic doing an hour instead of me being only pretty good. you know,
Well, I mean, there's a
I
few
think
factors like your experience factor one, and then the fact that you're
Yeah.
not just trying to survive this time like you were last time.
right, right, and I like the jokes on Tangled Up in Plaid, but I think I performed the second album a lot better. You could just tell I'm way more at ease with kind of who I am as a comic. So as much as I love Tangled and Plaid, and people still this day will say that they like Tangled and Plaid more, and that's cool. Which I think, I mean, uh, I'm glad people still like that album. But if I was to choose, I think Bauman's probably a better outing. But I'm super stoked people still like Tangled and Plaid.
I like
I just don't love it as much.
I like how it's like almost like people talking about their favorite musical album that they like. Oh, I like the original, but if you like it, that's okay.
Right. I liked his older stuff better.
Yeah.
Um, but the next one is I'm really excited to record, so
Ooh.
I'm stoked.
Do you have any information that you can share about the next one?
Yeah, it's gonna be. I think I'm recording in the East Coast.
Oh wow.
I can't really tell you who I'm. I can't say much, but it's gonna be cool, and people are gonna be able to see it pretty easily, which is awesome. And I did record a third hour in Austin at the Velveeta Room, and I all the shows were great. I did 4 shows, but I was very intoxicated. I was going through a really hard time in my life, and it just sounds it's just overly cynical. And for someone that is like a proud cynic, it must have been very cynical. So we decided not to release it. I didn't like that version of myself. So those will always forever be the lost tapes. And who knows? Maybe at some point they'll get released. Maybe, I don't know.
That's cool.
But this next one, I'm at maximum powers. I'm at a good place in my life, and the jokes are the best ones yet. So I'm stoked.
I love it.
That's awesome. Hey, the Lost Tapes one, you could probably clip that one and put clips of it that you like on YouTube or something.
Oh man.
Totally, yeah. And I have thought about that. It's when you have a record deal, it's so weird because they own part of that intellectual property. So
yeah, you're right.
It's one of those things where I would have to do it in conjunction with them, and I don't know if it's worth the effort. But trust me, at some point, at some time, a couple of those bits will see the light of day. I'm sure of it. I just don't know how.
Hell yeah.
I feel like it'll be interesting to see if that was like some of your crowd was like that was the first time they ever saw you. And then someone goes,
Right.
"Oh, have you ever heard of Johnny Taylor?" And they're like, "Oh, he's dark.
He
is
so
that guy's an
mean."
asshole. Yeah. That guy needs to go seek therapy. Yeah, I'm sure most of that crowd will never see me again. And their only impression of me is being, a very intoxicated, petty jerk.
It happens. I think we're all very intoxicated petty
fine.
jerks at some point in our life.
Right.
Don't record it.
I know. I just committed it to analog. So
yeah, exactly. That's cool. Let's talk about some of your podcasting. I know that you've had several podcasts. Yeah. Are you only doing the one right now, or are you doing a couple?
Only one. We're doing the Awesome Pod, which is a wrestling podcast. I had one with Keith called It's Funny Because back in the day. And then I used to do one with Carlos Rodriguez called That's What's Up. And,
I like
just get my feet wet. And then I did one for the Hard Times called The Hard Talk, and it was originally called Hipsterocracy. And I had a bunch of great guests, and that was a really fun podcast to do.
Yeah, I remember you interviewed Eric Bischoff.
Yeah, I had Eric Bischoff on. I had fucking Blag Dahlia from the Dwarves on. Wow. Brendan Benson from the Raconteurs. Darcy the Mel Girl, who is now my co-host for the Awesome Pod, which Mickey Avalon. I had a bunch of great people on that, but Kyle Kinane, if I think it's still out there available, there's some good shit in there. But I interviewed Darcy and Diana Prince, which she goes by in her regular life. And I talked to her after, and she was like, "Oh, I didn't know you were a wrestling fan." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm a huge wrestling fan." And she was like, "Oh, we should do a wrestling podcast." And then we brought Brendan Patrizzo in, who is a director for Asylum, famous for Sharknado and things. Wow. And he had never watched wrestling. So it was cool having this guy that was just watching wrestling for the first time, really, not having any idea what was going on. And then it turned into the Awesome Pod. So, and now we do that. We release weekly. Sometimes we'll have a special episode. Chris Jericho hops on and does a special episode once
No.
every other month or so, which is
Wow.
super cool.
Yeah.
And then we're doing and then Joe Bob Briggs is on like fucking almost every week. But Jericho is super cool. We're doing the Awesome Pod Live at Joe Bob Briggs Jamboree in Vegas, October 8th. Right after us, Jericho's doing Talk is Jericho, and then Fozzie's performing. And
Wow,
then
that's incredible.
yeah, and then we're doing a sleepaway camp marathon, and Jericho and I are gonna get to kind of riff tracks it with Joe Bob Briggs and some of the cast. So that should be super cool. And Bunny and the Blade are going to be our special guests for the live show, which should be super cool.
Wow, I did not realize you're doing such big things with that podcast. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's been good. Yeah, the Awesome Pod's blown up. I've been pleasantly surprised at how well it's been done.
I listened to a couple episodes of it, and I really enjoyed the dynamic. I think it was just you and Darcy though, what I heard.
Yeah. So most of the time we'll just roll me, Darcy, and Brendan. But it seems like lately we've had Joe Bob and Jericho have been on quite a bit over the last couple of months. So
wow, that must be like a dream come true for you. That's incredible.
it's wild. I've always been a Jericho guy too.
Yeah, same.
So
in
the
fact,
fact that
I put it on backwards. I laid out my clothes and I took a quick shower and then I put my shirt on inside out. But I was wearing a Chris Jericho shirt for you, but you can't see it, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's Alpha Club.
Oh, that's dope. Yeah, the
I
fact that
we didn't talk about Jericho either.
That Jericho texts me is just the weirdest thing in the world. I'll never forget the first text he ever sent me. He was like, "Hey Johnny, it's Jericho." I'm like, what world am I living in right now? So bizarre. But he's been such a help to the podcast, and he always reposts, and he's almost like an executive producer at this point. He's leading us in the right way. So it's been super cool.
Wow, that's incredible. I don't even know what to say about that. That's so incredible.
Yeah, and what a compliment, because that just means he really likes your energy.
Yeah.
People don't fuck with people that don't like, to be around.
Right. Yeah, he's been so cool. It's again like
wow.
I have no idea no idea how I got here, but here we are.
Yeah. Where's your podcast available?
It's on Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere you can get podcasts. So however you want to, and we do a YouTube now too. So if you want to watch video, you could catch up there. And if you're a Jericho person, we have 2 watch alongs for some of the stadium stampedes with Jericho, giving us like behind the scenes stuff throughout the whole thing, which is super cool.
That is dope.
I am into that, so I'll definitely check that out. Wow, that sounds like
I know. I'm excited.
Okay, well,
yeah, you guys can check it out. It's cool.
Yeah, definitely. You also you teach classes about storytelling and comedy. Tell us about that a little bit.
Yeah, at this point, I've been doing it for 4 years now, which is so bizarre to even say. And I've had hundreds of students, and so many of them are like, and from all different ranges. So many of them are doing such great things now in the scene. So it, definitely a point of pride where I'm like, oh, they were my student. But yeah, it's basically talking about how to incorporate like storytelling mechanisms into your act. And, so many people are like, oh, I have this great story, but I don't know how to make it funny. And it's just about trying to figure out how to take kind of the naturally funny moments of them in those stories and accentuate them and make it so that you have multiple moments like that throughout, and you have like a compelling conclusion to the story, which is the problem with so many stories where they're like, oh, then this happened, then it goes nowhere, and like, you can't blue ball the audience like that.
Yeah,
everybody's got a friend that tells a story that goes nowhere, and you end up hating that friend. So it's a matter of just kind of really kind of teaching how to structure a storytelling bit and to make it funnier. But I always shit on stand-up classes. That's why I don't teach a stand-up class, because you know the best way to learn how to do stand-up is to go bomb at open mics for 4 months.
Yeah.
That's really, so I always say do 6 months of stand-up first, and then we could get you in the class. So
Yeah.
I would rather talk to people that have experienced, the open mic grind, or or whatever, before they come in, because the class is not going to make you funny, but the class is going to help you out to structure a story. So, uh, some people, I always say in first day class, I'm like, I'm not a miracle worker. I'm not gonna. This class isn't gonna make you good at stand up. But it'll help you with some of the mechanisms that might make your act a little bit more memorable. So
The tools that you need.
Yeah, yeah. I think did Jesse take your class, Jesse Rivera, recently?
Jesse, he has taken it a couple of times, and he's
Okay.
now my teaching assistant. So
Wow.
he,
Okay. So
he's my TA, so he keeps time and he keeps notes. It's very helpful to have somebody to do that, so I don't have to worry about it.
And Jesse's
And
great.
he's
yeah.
great, and he always has
Yeah.
such great input
What I
on
was gonna
people's
say
bits.
was the last couple of times I've seen him, he's just told these amazing, compelling stories, and I was on the edge
Yeah.
of my seat both times.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, he's really, that's become a real strength for him in stand up.
Mhm.
And I'd like to think I have something to do with that, or the class does. Um, but yeah, Jesse's gotten so good. So
Hmm.
yeah, he's one of the ones where I'm always like, man, that guy's gotten so much better over the years.
Yeah.
So much more
Yeah.
comfortable with his kind of with his own personality and his own
Yep.
voice on stage. So I'm stoked for Jesse,
Hell yeah. Me
and
too.
big things for him.
Hell yeah. So I almost called you Jesse. So Johnny, in
Call him
closing,
what you want.
you've accomplished so much in comedy. You toured the country with Brian Posehn. You have this podcast with Chris Jericho that comes on there every now and then. What are some things that you still would like to accomplish in comedy?
Oh man, I'd like to headline clubs consistently. I'd love to do TV. I've done a bunch of acting over the last couple of years. Did a pilot that was very well received and got into a bunch of really cool festivals. And obviously, my friend Melissa Villaseñor had me in her music video, which was cool.
I love
And
her.
then I've been in a couple of movies. I was in the Megalodon, The Frenzy, and then I just got
Wow,
done shooting another horror flick, which will be kind of internationally distributed. So, yeah, just do more acting and do more writing, and you know anything that'll help me do more stand up in front of more people is kind of what I hope happens.
that's awesome. Were you in the
And I'm
first
going to do it to.
Megalodon?
I was not in the first one. I was in the third sequel.
The third
The
sequel.
third
Okay.
Unicorn
sequel.
Unicorn Boat Victim.
Oh, check that out. I guess
My credit
uh,
is Unicorn Boat Victim.
this
Oh,
Megalodon movie
nice.
just came out recently, and the graphics are incredible. So I'm like, I need to watch that. So maybe I'll try to find it. I'll see the Unicorn Boat Victim.
Unicorn Boat Victim. That's me. Um, yeah, it's not going to win any Oscars. I'll just say that.
No, but it's nice for the resume.
Yeah, yeah. I'll put it on my IMDb.
That's
You're
awesome.
like, can I get on the pirate boat instead?
I know. Unicorn Boat Victim. The toughest credit of all time.
I love that.
That is
So
awesome.
silly.
That is awesome. Well, I don't know how we can top that. So thank you for joining us, Johnny.
Oh, so much fun. Good to see you guys, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys again soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Same
Oh
here.
yeah.
You want to plug some social media before we get out of here?
Oh yeah, at Hipstrocracy on everything, and yeah, listen to the podcast. And then if you're in the Bay Area, come see me with Posehn, October 19th to the 21st at Cobb's. It'll be fun.
Hell yeah. And you can find me across the board at Funky Sam Medina.
And I am at She Shines for You, all spelled out, no numbers.
And everything else is at Hypothetical Comedy. Awesome, Johnny. Thank you so much.
Thanks.